welcome back to the When I Wanted Out talk show. We're a platform that promotes meaningful relationships through storytelling. It is still me, Telola Kola-Edun, on this wonderful episode where we'll be discussing a story titled My Marriage Was Hell, the complete opposite of what I knew marriage to be. Now, this is a story about a young lady who fell in love with a guy. He seemed to have it all. She saw him as a good Christian guy with close ties to family and was very caring. He even went ahead to propose with a very expensive diamond ring. Her parents in turn lavishly sponsored the wedding and everything seemed to go well until after the wedding ceremony, they had nowhere to go. Her newly wedded husband had not made any living arrangements for them. She eventually ended up in his family house, and then she realized that she got married to a fraud, a narcissist, a delusional, and a pathological liar. She left the marriage 8 months after the wedding ceremony with a baby on the way. Now, with me to discuss this story are Pastor Sheyi.
It's my pleasure being on your program.
Thank you very much for coming. And we have Mrs. Anu Adedipe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. So now, I'm going to start with ladies first. What is your take on this story?
Okay, thank you very much. I think for me, key things stood out for me. She wanted someone that has Christian values, which she saw in her ex-husband. She also saw someone who has family ties. So one thing sticks out is that this girl is a girl that probably grew up with people with family ties. Mm-hmm. So she understood what it means to have a close family ties. So that must have been what lured her, first of all, to the marriage, to her fiancé, to her ex-husband, rather. But what I don't understand now is how until after the marriage, before they realized that there was nowhere they were going to stay.
Right. So her focus wasn't on the after marriage, but she was so caught up on the wedding.
So where have you been courting? Where have you been going to? Have you been seeing each other? What discussions did you have about marriage? I'm a bit skeptical about that angle, but all the values that she wanted in a man and that she mentioned at first were genuine values that I understood, and I sympathize with the fact that she really wanted a good family tie and a Christian, which she saw in her ex-husband.
Right. What is your take, Pastor Shi?
Yeah, it's clear that this couple, they had courtship, but they didn't do courtship.
They had courtship, but didn't do courtship. Can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, you having courtship is just being overwhelmed by the emotions that I'm getting married. I found somebody at last. But the purpose of courtship was not targeted in that courtship. The purpose of courtship is to prepare for marriage, not for wedding.
Okay, so many of us are getting it mixed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Courtship is a time I call it a time to check your relationship, whether it passes for a marriage. The time to check your relationship, whether it passes for a marriage. For example, before we started rolling on the camera, you heard the cameraman and the sound engineer asking us, your sound, is it okay? Are you ready? They're doing sound check, so at the end of the day, the production will come out very well. That's what courtship ought to do for couples. Okay. It's a relationship check time to know whether this relationship will pass for marriage. But unfortunately today, a lot of young people, what you see them do is that they just have courtship and they are not doing courtship. So they prepare for wedding and not marriage. You heard that.
So how do we prepare though? Like how do you prepare for marriage?
Thank you. You prepare for marriage by looking out for the values that you are going to both build on in marriage. For what character of the person, the values they uphold, their preferences and their life goals. These are the things you look out for in courtship. The values the person upholds, the character, and then the principles of his goal in life, and then of course what he believes makes marriage beautiful. That's what you look out for in courtship. So it's not a time to plan for wedding. It's not a time to get a bridal train. It's not a time to choose your wedding gown. It's not a time just to get a nice suit from Dubai or from somewhere. It's a time to actually prepare for the life after wedding, which a lot of young people are not
doing right now.
So
Okay.
I don't know.
So
You know, I bet to disagree.
okay.
Yeah,
so I would like to
yeah,
hear your
fine,
opinion
fine.
on this.
Because you said that they had to have a discussion, look at his character and all that. Now she's seen this guy who has probably going to midweek service, going to church, is a Christian, they discuss things, they do other church activities. This guy has a very strong family tie. He's prepared, he understands the need of having a nuclear family. She's seen this guy that is responsible, respectful to her parents. She's seen this guy that has come to show that I love you. So how do you prepare ahead for something that you're seeing now in the present? And everything you're seeing now in the present is good. It's everything you have in value and all the values you want to see in the future. So how do you prepare
So
for something ahead?
I think I would even buttress on that question because it's clear that this man had a facade.
Yeah.
He portrayed what he was not.
Okay.
He gave a look of I'm a good Christian, I'm a good man, I'm loving, I'm caring, I love my family, I would love your family too. He put on a good impression. So what do you think would cause a man to do that? Or a woman too? Why would they have to deceitfully, we use that word, lure someone into marriage?
Before I answer your question, can I say this? Like I said, in our pre-discussion, if you mean well for yourself, it's very difficult for people to take advantage of you. I'm telling you the truth. If you mean well for yourself, if you are true to yourself, you are true to God, and you are true to others, it's almost impossible for people to take advantage of you. At the end of the day, all their motives, all their plans will always be leaked. The way God structured life and relationship.
So if I'm hearing you need to have a good relationship with the Holy Spirit or with God to be able to decipher a person.
Like I say, if you mean well for yourself and you are willing to do God's pleasure,
okay,
and you also don't want to take advantage of others, it's almost impossible for others to take advantage of you. I can tell you that lady also did not mean well for herself.
How so?
What did I say so?
Yeah.
Now, they tell you, marry believers. Marry good Christians. Then the question is, how do I know a good Christian? As a Christian, right? Even when they go to church every day, they tie their hair, or it looks like a pastor. I don't know this person is a good Christian. The answer is very simple. You know a good Christian by being a good Christian yourself. Yes, that's the truth.
Would you agree with
I can tell you that almost all the time that works. You know a good Christian by being a good Christian yourself.
But funny enough, I did hear a story of a woman that was in church, serving, worker, all of that. And the man came to church. I think he spotted her and saw her interest in God and the things of God. And he started attending church with her. Every service he's in church, every prayer he's there, everything he's there. Pastors gave blessings, ministers gave blessings. As soon as they got married, the man told the woman, I'm not going to church anymore. I am not going to your church and you are not going to church anymore. And we're not going to that church anymore. We are sitting at home. Now, he had the appearance of a Christian. Even the pastors, I'm sure, because she's such a worker in church, did not see through the facade. Okay. Right? We don't know the nitty-gritty, but he says he's not a Christian and he's not going to church, and she must not.
Okay.
Yes.
In as much as I may agree, I may agree that there will be exceptional cases.
Yes.
Where somebody pulled through with that deceit.
Yes.
And that makeup.
Yes.
I can tell you 8 out of 10 ladies that mean well for themselves and they know what they're doing in God and they're spiritual will uncover such deceitful and uncoordinated guys. I tell you, God cannot be mocked. I tell you, God is faithful. God cannot be mocked. If you mean well for yourself and you are ready to do God's pleasure and you mean well for your neighbor, it's like I'll keep saying it. It's practically difficult for people to take advantage of you because somehow, because you're a fair person, God is in heaven. He's a God of justice. He has a way of vindicating you and not allowing you to get hooked up in such false relationship. But like I told them, 1 or 2 exceptional cases, but majority of the times, somehow God helps a lot of people to get through if they mean well for themselves.
But I don't understand. Everybody means well for themselves.
Exactly.
For others, I said for others, and they're also true to God.
They're true to God. Okay,
True
but
to God,
I
true
did,
to yourself, and a lot of people are true to themselves. They try to be true to whatever, but they're not true to God.
Bad things happen to good people.
so I was even going to buttress
That what
on-
bad thing happen to good people is relative.
So I was even
No,
going to
What
buttress on-
what you call bad
I was going to
may not
buttress
be
on this.
may-
I actually want to
is
talk
relative.
about this. There's a lady that came. I went to a marriage seminar, and the lady stood on the platform and was telling us that she was in choir, she was the key minister in church,
Okay.
and we'll have visiting prophets, visiting pastors, and 7 of them that didn't even know themselves prophesied that she was supposed to get married to the guy that is like, I think, the music, whatever, only to get married and find out that the guy is gay.
For me,
So pastor gave blessings, everybody gave
sorry,
blessings.
man. Like I always say, 1,000 prophets can't tell you whom to marry. It's still God that knows whom you should marry.
Right.
1,000 prophets can't tell you whom to marry. I keep saying it. Don't tell me they told me to marry him. You still blame yourself at the end of the day. You need to know whom you are getting married to, and God need to give you the conviction yourself. 1,000 prophets can't be accurate with whom you marry. Like God will give you the conviction. So the issue of the told to marry him is still always something you blame yourself for.
Pastor Shay says
Yeah.
that facade can be easily used if you have God. Is that your take?
I mean, at this point, the sentiment of I can't take away the sentiment of having God or all of this, but the truth is that there are times that people can genuinely fall for deceit. And right now, in this society, in this generation, a lot of people are falling for deceit. A lot of guys are out there that are. It's not necessarily not to talk about judging anybody, but they are not who they say they are. Yeah, and but they are good people. They are good people in the sense that they are Christians, they pray a lot, they attend church service, they are workers, they want to take out this part of them that is not them, that they feel like, oh, I'm not conscious. I'm careful not to use that particular word. They consciously say, oh, I just want to be married and not bring out this other side of me. Now, when a lady meets such a guy that goes to church, fast, prays, is a workaholic, but at the end of the day, he's not someone that is really interested in women, but has to do it for the society's sake. How would you judge that that person does not mean well for herself to have fallen for that guy?
But you know what? Being nice does not make you a good person.
So
Ultimately, being nice.
what makes you a good person?
It's your character.
Okay, and
the values you uphold.
And the character is framed by...
I can by the values you uphold.
Okay.
And I can tell you, like they say, no matter how much somebody tries to hide their character is like smoke. Somehow, if you are sensitive, you will sense that this person is not who he or she says.
So what I'm hearing is,
character is like smoke.
We will see the red flags.
You will. I
There's
can
some
tell
things
you,
that will
man.
kind of stick
I'm not
up.
disputing that.
Okay, so wait,
There are no
what
exceptional
about
cases.
men that have?
I'm not disputing that.
Wait, what about men that have second family, and they've had the family for 30 years? They are married to this family, and they have another family, and they are attending, and these are workers, the elders in church, and they have this second family there. I don't want us to use the word.
They have two families.
Yes, they have second family. I don't want us to characterize being a good person with religion.
No,
Christianity.
No.
Okay.
No.
So
it's
you know
goes beyond that.
you said that you will know people that have good Christians and all that. I want us to take that completely out of it. There are people that are not necessarily into church
religion,
going and
they
all
have
that,
good values.
but they are naturally good people. You won't see them; they are not workers in church. You don't see them showing up church or even attending church, but they know God for themselves. Do you understand? So I don't want us to characterize people of good people naturally for people that go to church. So when you say that people mean well for themselves, that if you mean well for yourself, you won't meet a guy. I completely disagree to that statement.
So I think what he's saying is being able to... The core of Pastor Shay's message was in the feeling of the Holy Spirit, working with the Holy Spirit to lead you, guide you, and then you are also perceptive to see the red flags. Am I buttressing well?
Yeah. And then you are also ready to take advantage of anybody or any situation.
So you're saying I'm not desperate to get married?
You're not desperate, and you're not ready to also take advantage of anybody. If you know this, if you mean well for yourself and for other people, if the relationship you are into is not yielding what you expect, you should be true to yourself enough to excuse yourself.
I really love this.
You should be true to yourself enough to excuse yourself. Not that you say, "Oh, I've invested so much. I'm going to start all over again."
A lot of men, let's not even just put it on women alone. A lot of men get married to bad women, and these are ladies that they met. These are ladies that are good, they're hardworking, but for some reason, the lady might just cause them a lot of emotional damage, might cause them a lot of mental damage, may make them feel less of themselves. There are a lot of things about values and character.
I want us to go on a short break because this is interesting banter, and I feel like we need to drill in because a lot of us are on either side of this argument. So we'll be right back.
Are you in a relationship leading to marriage? Are you happily married or married with difficulties? Are you having issues with your in-laws? Are you unsure of what next to do in your marriage? If yes, join me, Teleola Kola-Edun, every Wednesday on the When I Wanted Out talk show, where we promote meaningful relationships through storytelling and we unpack real-life stories with real people. You don't want to miss it. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all other social media platforms. Thank you.
Welcome back. It's still When I Wanted Out talk show with your host, Teleola Kola-Edun. And you're in the middle of an interesting banter on how we are able to read through the facade. A lot of us having facade, and our guests are going in on this. So, do you think people change for better or worse when they get married? No. They don't change.
Is whom you are before marriage, you will still be in marriage. So you improve on yourself, either good or bad. Tell the truth.
So you can't change.
No, people only change. Who you are before marriage is who you're going to be in marriage.
So
so you
that
improve on yourself, either good or bad.
Okay, so someone that showed that they were hiding behind a facade will get married. The facade will come down eventually, right?
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying. So the true person will always show. Now, there's this story of a lady I just counseled, a pastor's wife. To let you know that I've always told you, I've proved this over time, that if you are true to yourself, you are true to God, and you are true to your neighbors, you will always come through people who want to take advantage of it. You will always escape them. Now, this lady had two children outside wedlock, from her whole life. Then she got closer to God, became born again, and took her pieces back together and started living for God with her children, struggling to favor the children. And then she got to a place where she was working, and there was this guy who was a pastor in the making and who got interested in her. She was always reserved because of what she had had in her past relationship. So she was always reserved in the office, minding her business. But this pastor broke into her and got to hear about her story. And this pastor, who was over 40 and needed to get married, I felt time was going. Just felt this lady that should not turn me down. She has 2 children. If I'm going to marry her, I'll be doing her a favor.
Hey.
So that was his mentality, and the lady confirmed to me that that's actually her husband's mindset till now. That he did her a favor by marrying her with 2 children outside wedlock. So she proposed to her, and within 4 months, he said that they should have a wedding. And the lady's pastor said, "How do you marry in 4 months? You have not known this guy. Take it easy." This guy said, "We are married in 4 months." And before I know it was okay, 6 months. She agreed to marry the guy in 6 months. But the pastor of the lady said, "I'm not going to be part of this because you don't mean well for yourself. You're not being true to yourself. Let's get to know this guy." Guess what? This wedding was done. The pastor at a distance, was part of it. And 6 years into the wedding, into the marriage.
6 years?
Yeah, she's regretting it big time now. She said her husband treats her like someone she did a favor. Now I'm telling you. And she told me that she knew that she was also rushing. She knew something was not right. But she just felt, this guy too is here. Let me just go on with him. Now she's regretting it. If they had time to cut, there's the chances that he will not marry him is high. Yeah. If she is true to herself, like I've always.
But would you think that somebody can keep a facade for 3 years?
So
I think at some point the truth will start coming out about you.
But you would have been.
Yes, so
maybe most
it's
of the time-
possible.
It's possible to hide yourself for 3
For 3
years.
years, it's possible. Like getting married under infatuation. Infatuation can last for as long as 5 years, but after from 5 years to be cleared. But like I said, if the person has been infatuated and been someone who is purposeful and somebody who is true, even in 1 year, you will uncover such people.
When you keep saying true to yourself, I have so many stories and people in my head that I'm looking at and I'm saying, I remember this person, I know this person, she's extremely true to herself, if I want to use that word. She's a good person. She's a hardworking person, yet she got married.
Was she true to God? Was she someone who was always who was eager to obey God's voice, follow God's instructions?
So I think maybe I would have to probably introduce her to you,
Okay.
so that you can hear from her.
Okay.
I really would want her to say her story.
Okay.
Personally,
to hear.
yeah. So this is the person that I knew. Went to the same university, yeah, and I know how much she would carry us all along. All she does all her life is to give her life to God, right? She does nothing but God. As a matter of fact, when she got married still intact, right? She married somebody that we all felt, well, maybe. Now I'm looking at it from another angle, like, okay, some of us who feel like we're out there, we could have said, there's a bit of something here, but she is a good person. She only does a book and a God. That's all that she did. Now, 7 years into this marriage, she's the one that is still extremely hardworking. She's the one that has been doing everything. The guy was working when they got married. So we all know him, and the guy was working. But we were still in school. Now, let me say this. This guy would follow us to church, would do everything we wanted to do in church, would give his life. It's not even just about the church alone right now. And years into the marriage, you were saying that people either improve or...
Yeah, or what they are before they marry.
Yes. Now, 6-7 years into the marriage, the guy has lost his job and just wants to hang out all through. She's doing all the whole work. She's extremely working, and when she gets the money, when she sends the money for the house rent, the guy will blow it. When she does anything, the guy will use all the money, and the guy started bringing women into the house. Now, So she became extremely so depressed, and nobody can tell me she wasn't true to herself. So how do you tell that in the long run, the person that is wearing the face mask, in the long run, you get married to this person and this person starts bringing out this character? Would you say that because she wasn't true to herself or she didn't hear from God, that's why she got married to that guy?
You're picking just one point out of a whole lot the point I made is a whole. You can't separate it.
Okay.
You have to be true to yourself.
Yes.
True to your neighbor, which is the next person
which is us, which is where people around us.
Or the person you are in relationship with.
Yes.
Then be true to God in that you want to obey God to the letter.
I picked the 3. She's true to herself.
Yeah.
She's true to everybody. She helps all of us with everything that has to do with her work. She sacrifices everything.
She doesn't take advantage of people.
Never.
And she follows God.
Never.
But okay. I wish I can hear from her. She said they always tell you like this lady. They always tell you this way I got it wrong. Oh, I saw it, but I didn't. I just felt
okay. So I feel like there's a bit of those that go around. I think there's a bit of that where you actually see there are things that make you uncomfortable.
You just saying what,
but you will kind of rub it off.
Sentiment.
I think that all of us have been through that. You're like, I saw this behavior.
Sentiment.
I agree.
I saw the behavior.
As I was speaking
let me hear.
As I was speaking now, I realized that people, someone like me, would have said, I don't think I'll marry this uncle because she's a Christian and she's too up out there. But that's love.
So I think what Pastor Sheyi is saying and what you're saying, we can marry it on the fact that things don't feel right. You get a sense when you're cutting, when you're dating, you have these spikes.
Yeah,
it's checking you like, I don't like this thing. I don't like this. I don't like this.
9 out of 10 do see these signs. 9 out of 10.
But it may not be very pronounced.
Don't let's say 100%.
Yeah, but it may not be very pronounced. It could just be something that is inside of you that you're saying, there's something about this person that I don't like. The way this person is
If you are
talking
true
to
to
me.
yourself, you will just get to know that.
Okay,
I don't like the word true to yourself.
I think
That's the
okay,
one.
that's the cross
There
of
are
it.
people that are true to themselves
But
and
you-
they still
you-
fall for this
No,
crap.
but like I told you, it's not just being true to yourself alone. That alone will not get the job done. You have to be true to yourself, true to others, and then you're true to your God. And if you want to follow your God to the letter.
Last letter. Okay, so I
mean-
think we will wrap up this conversation because it's really good. It's really good, and I can say that I have met people that will tell you, there was something about this person that didn't sit well with me. I didn't like how he spoke to my mom. I didn't like how he spoke to me. I didn't like how he handled that situation.
Yes.
There's always something.
There are people that are gentle that they don't talk at all.
He said
they
something
can
and
kill you
I
at the
felt
end of the
my
day.
husband said this.
Why would someone talk like this? You know, so
But
there are things,
I just felt it was overwhelmed.
overreacting or he's angry.
But that thing still repeats itself.
And you can't live for every little thing like that.
Exactly.
No.
But I think
Like I said, it still repeats itself.
When it's constant,
And they still excuse it.
you still
I
make
think-
excuses.
I think
yes.
finally, for me, the most important thing I feel in marriage is maybe what I've learned is responsibility. That's my most important word. Marriage can be tiring as time goes on.
Yeah.
You can meet somebody that at the end of the day, they are all good, everything is fine, but you get tired along the way. Now, I'm sorry to say this because I'm a Christian, but I feel like it's not easy for one person to fill all the needs of another person. There are a lot of needs that we have, emotional needs. So maybe you might meet someone that is not romantic or something. Physical needs, maybe someone that is touchy to you. Now, financial needs, responsible in the house, provides for the children, provides for you, understand and take all. So I feel like
Compliment you.
I feel like
it's very hard for you to find somebody that will embody all your needs.
Now, and once the most important needs to you. Now, I may not need financial needs because I'm working and I'm well to do, right? But maybe my husband feels that it's financial needs I need, right? But what I need from him is emotional needs. And he's not a romantic person to give me that emotional needs. He's not ready to sit down and have that discussion with me. You know what? That might be my most important needs. And while I'm talking to you, my husband will tell me that, but I provide for the family now. I do everything I'm supposed to do. I get what else do you want? I go to job. It might be spiritual needs that you have. But you know what? One thing that couples don't do is understand the most important need of the other person. If you understand the most important
That's what Gary Chapman called the 5 love languages.
Okay. Yeah. So if you understand the most important need of that person, and that person is contented with that need, right? It will be hard for you to now talk about character, all this and all that, because the person cares about what is important to you. But what is important to that person may not be what is important to you. So I feel like all that, right now, you have to be extremely responsible. You have to, and number one for me, that's all I think I've learned so far in marriage. And I think that you also have to love yourself. Whether you're talking about true to God, true to yourself, you have to love yourself. The story of this particular girl, one thing I realized is that she checked herself on time. She actually loves herself. She's from a background that they love themselves. That's why she can walk out. It's not a lot of people that will walk out 8 months after marriage. A lot of people will still say, stay there, it's your husband's house and all that. She loves herself, number one. She loves herself to understand that I can stand alone and I can do this alone and I would find love again. Women don't love themselves. Women don't understand the need that they have before getting to marriage.
Think what I'm hearing is self-awareness.
Yes.
You have looked deep within yourself
I
and
can't
you know that I
stand
can't
alone.
stand this, I can't stand this, and I'm ready to stand.
I'm ready to go. But I know that you will not agree, Pastor, to you because that's what the boss comes in.
I get your point. Now you made a valid point. What I mean is that if you have not learned, if you have not discovered yourself, you can't discover a partner.
But a lot of us discover ourselves in marriage. As long as
I
you're
think,
married to a good person.
I think that's what they're saying. That it's not right for you to discover yourself in marriage. You have to discover yourself.
That's why
we grow.
Thank you.
Yes, you get to, the self-awareness comes before marriage.
That's why experience. No, that's why they call when you're working in the office, they'll say, how many years experience do you have? You see that experience. Before, I didn't understand. I'll say, why are they looking for experience in work? You see, recently I've realized that oh, I've been working for so long. You would have done something in one past time in 1 year, and that experience will come and help you in the present time. We cannot discover everything before we get married.
No, but at least you discover your purpose, where you are going in life.
My God.
There needs to be vision for your life. You need to have somewhere you are going.
I just had a webinar and I emphasized it. If you have not discovered yourself before marriage, I tell you, you're going to have problem in marriage. Because in marriage, you are supposed to be discovering your partner. So what is the time to discover you have not even discovered yourself. Now you are going to marriage where you should be discovering your partner for a lifetime. What marriage does that you discover your partner for a lifetime.
Okay,
so it helps
you
when you
discover yourself in you can't some people go.
What I mean is that discover yourself means having a sense of purpose. There
needs to be purpose to my life. I can't find somebody to come and compliment me.
Having a sense of significance.
Right.
That you know you're somebody that nobody can hold to ransom. You're somebody who can make yourself happy. You're somebody who can be fulfilled.
None of us discovered that things in life.
And I think that's why many of us have problems in marriage.
Thank you, but that's not how it should be.
Many of us have problems in marriage because we figure out ourselves later. I know that we grow. We are
yes.
But I think the issue is finding purpose before
I tell
marriage.
you the truth.
What is the importance of my life? Why am I here? What am I doing here? Am I just supposed to work?
Bible says can two work together except they are agreed. You see, you don't marry a person who is not going the way you're going. That marriage will not work. Now, there's no way I can hold hands with you if you are going north and I'm going south. I can't hold hands with you.
I think we're going to continue this banter
I can't hold hands with you.
So I really want to end this conversation because it's really
purpose
interesting.
comes in. You need to know your purpose to know who you take along. You know the way you're going to know who you take along.
Fair point. I'm going to let us end this conversation here. This has been really insightful, really educative. But I think one thing we all agree on this panel is, one, you know the red flags. You see it. It's bugging you, it's disturbing you, you're complaining to your friends about it, you're telling your mom about it, you're telling someone about it, that this thing I'm not comfortable with, I'm not agreeing with it, it's making me uncomfortable. Check it.
Be bold.
Take those steps. Yeah. Remember them, that this thing is going to keep happening. And when you get married, it's going to become more pronounced. You're going to have more issues. And secondly, what we have agreed on is that we evolve as a person. But what we need to understand is the purpose for our life. There has to be something that we are looking out for ourselves. What God has put in us to do on the face of this earth, and our partner will then come to help us on that journey. And so with that, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We look forward to seeing you on another episode. Take care now. Bye-bye.